Let's make 2 gallons of Thai tea together. I'll be making this for all of my Thanksgiving gatherings, so I doubled my recipe and started off with measuring out 30 cups of water. While that's heating up on the stove, let's measure out our tea and sugar. I need 6 cups of this Pantai Thai tea mix and 3 cups of sugar. I have a tendency to write my recipes down on a piece of paper and I lost it, so I'm thankful that I actually made a video with my Thai tea recipe already, so I actually had to reference that. Once the water has come to a boil, we'll dump in our bowl of tea and our bowl of sugar. We'll give it a good stir, ensuring the tea leaves are saturated in the water, and leave the stove on for about 2 minutes. Once the 2 minutes are up, turn off the heat and let it steep for about 15 to 20 minutes. While we wait for that, I'll be prepping my container with some condensed milk. I started to add condensed milk to my recipe because I wanted to minimize the amount of straight up sugar I was adding. The condensed milk helps make the Thai tea thicker and more milky while also adding a different type of sweetness. For this large batch, I added 2 14-ounce cans. Now that my tea is done steeping, this is the most tedious part of making Thai tea. This time I took a big strainer to scoop out a bulk of the tea before I dump the tea into a finer strainer. So as you can see, I do this a few times and just dump it out into a bowl, and once that's full, I'll dump it in the trash. After I scooped as much as I could, I had this fine strainer that I used specifically for making Thai tea. I added a chopstick underneath to stabilize it while I dumped the tea in. I slowly pour it in and wait for it to drain so I can dump more. This pot was pretty heavy since it's 2 times more than what I normally make, but yeah, this was my form of exercise. Now I just slowly pour the tea in batches and wait for it to drain. Someone on my last video said that squeezing the tea leaves causes the tea to be more bitter, so I'm trying not to press on it too much, but it does take a while to drain. Now for the satisfying part, seeing the condensed milk mix into the hot tea. Give that a good stir and we'll let this sit out until it cools down enough to store in the fridge overnight. It's the next day and now I need to taste test my Thai tea. It smelled pretty sweet already, but I need to taste it just to make sure. The amount of sugar varies on your taste buds, but I think it needed a little more, so I measured about 1/3 of a cup of sugar and added that in. Give it a good mix so the sugar can dissolve and taste it one more time. I like it on the sweeter side because I like to ice my drinks, and it'll be the perfect sweetness once you add the ice. I have my 3 pitchers ready, and now we'll pour out our tea. Each pitcher holds 2 quarts, and I have another jar of Thai tea on the side because I don't have a 4th pitcher, but it equals to about 2 gallons. The final step is adding in my non-dairy creamer. You can add half and half or non-dairy creamer, whichever you prefer. The condensed milk helped the tea get pretty thick already, so I filled my pitchers about 3/4 of the way with the tea base, and I just topped it off with the non-dairy creamer. Now the Thai tea should have the perfect balance of tea, milk, and sugar. Give it one last shake and you're good to go. 2 gallons of Thai tea. Wow.